It's Halloween, and you know what that means? Vampires, scurrying around all over the place and trying to get ya. You're relaxing? They're in the bushes. So instead of wearing that stinky garlic necklace or lugging around that heavy wooden stake, try Flavors of the Forest Vampire Repellent. Just sprinkle a little on your food before venturing outside, and those bloodthirsty undead are sure to run the other way. Flavors of the Forest Vampire Repellent. Bite back at flavorsforest.com/vampire. For flavor beyond this realm.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. Paranoi Radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Oh, I think I'm speaking with Lady Lake Lanier right now, in fact. Let's make deposits into the bank of knowledge. Welcome back to Paranoi Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Trebles Garcia, and I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Guys, it's an amazing time to be alive, and I am rocking these episodes back to back to back. And I'm not only promoting and I'm not pushing out episodes only, but I'm also on YouTube. So if you are watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. And one more, like, share, subscribe. Be part of the frequency, baby, and tuning to Paranoi Radio Podcast. I have an amazing episode lined up with an amazing special guest for amazing people like you. Make sure you know that you can check us out at paranoiradio.com. The most important thing that you can do for the show is word of mouth. Check us out and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Let's jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. She's been here before. She had me on her show. It was an amazing honor and privilege, and I am ecstatic to have her back on the show today. She's a huge presence on YouTube, an amazing influence, if anything. And if you guys start seeing better visuals and better quality stuff, is because she's actually influencing me in a lot of different ways. I want to give her massive shout outs. Please check her out. Jessica Jones, the CRYPTID Huntress, is back. How are you, Jessica?
I am so good. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm glad that I can be an inspiration of some sort. I'm just over there having fun. And, it's so great to be able to let my creativity flow and like get it out there and to know I'm inspiring people like yourself. Like that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Where can people find you if they already don't know who you are?
Man, everybody can find me over on my YouTube channel, The CRYPTID Huntress. I also have a Rumble channel. It's just The CRYPTID Huntress. I have a website, thecryptidhuntress.com. I'm The CRYPTID Huntress everywhere. Yeah. So just find me there. Yeah.
CRYPTID Huntress descriptions on the show. If you're watching on YouTube, she's going to be on the title. Just click on it. And then you'll get directed into her channel because she's amazing. She has so many topics, bro. She's covered all types of cryptids. She's even covered my Alf story. So if you guys want to listen to that, you could also watch that under her lives tab on YouTube. Make sure you check her out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're going to jump in from the deep end of the pool right now. You're from Georgia. You're a native from the state. And I want to know more about the North Georgian portal. Talk to me.
Oh my gosh. You must be referring to an incident that occurred with my team a few years ago up in North Georgia. I don't know. We've encountered several portals. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think I might have mentioned that with you before the last time I was here. We may have. I usually do talk about the portal out at the Meadow. We have a project we work on. We call it the Meadow Project. And it's gained some notoriety over the years. But this is before the portal at the Meadow. This was years before that, actually. Up in North Georgia, my team went camping. We have this one particular area that we go to. It's an undisclosed location, but it's up in the North Georgia mountains somewhere. And we go up there and go Bigfooting. I've been a Bigfoot field researcher since 2011. And I get out in the woods a lot. I spend the majority of my days in the woods whenever I'm not doing shows. And I do other stuff too, but anyways, on the weekends at least. So we went up to this location, and it's a place where we always have activity, and I can't say it's always Bigfoot. Okay. But there's something paranormal. There's something flesh and bone, some kind of critters, animals. I don't know. Weird stuff happens up there. We hear a lot. It's mostly Bigfoot though, mostly Bigfoot. And so we have a lot of different locations that we camp out at. And this one particular base camp is I'll say the worst, if you want to put it in terms like it's a kind of dark up there. Like it doesn't feel like good energy up there. And in a lot of places we go, it feels more welcoming. This place is not welcoming at all. But we go there because the head of my team, I'm telling you, he's always put us in the middle of weird predicaments. He knows where all the different energies are. Okay. And this is a place where like we had to go get initiated into this area. Okay. Because we had to see where I don't know if you wanted to see where our heads were at the time or like see how we'd handle these situations. It's almost like a weird controlled environment. Like we know there's going to be something that happens. So let's see what happens. And so we put all of our tents out. Usually like we're all spread out all over the place. I put my tent way off from everybody just in case I snore. Okay. I don't want those guys hearing me snore. Okay. If I do. So, but this time we put our tents kind of closer together where we could all kind of hear each other and stuff at this location. And we were just kind of hanging out. We were planning on like getting out and kind of maybe breaking off into some small teams and stuff and, exploring the area that night and doing some hiking and stuff and observing. And at some point in the night, we were just sitting around the campfire and the head of our team stood up and he started kind of like not running, but walking quickly behind our tent, this location. And the next thing we know, we just hear him scream. And he says something like, it sounded like no, but it was like in another language. I think it was really odd. And the next thing we know, as soon as he did that, we hear something running behind our tent. So you can't just hear it running. You can hear it screaming. Something took off screaming, and it sounded like a mix between an animal that was in pain, mad, upset, just angry. But it sounded like a woman's voice. It went from like it sounded like an animal to a Bigfoot to like a woman. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it was like this massive lung capacity. And you could just hear it running, and you could hear it like the vocals, like, echoing through the mountain, and it didn't stop. It was like, wah! It was a noise I had never heard before, ever. And I've heard Bigfoots. We have a lot of Bigfoot chatter that'll happen. They'll come in around our camp and whistle and whoop at night and stuff. I've heard them try to imitate animals before, but this was something I had not heard before. And so
that is terrifying.
It was kind of terrifying, but we're Bigfoot field researchers. We're kind of used to this, just not in our base camp. This happened in our base camp, and guess what? It was behind my tent. Okay, where that happened. And so we all of course jumped up. We were all on alert, and the head of our team, we started kind of walking over to where he was to find out like what the heck was that. And he said, well, and this is something I didn't speak publicly about. I didn't tell the whole story. If I did kind of touch on it until about a month ago, I finally kind of told the whole story to my audience. Because when people would ask, we talk about it, we say, well, maybe that was just a Bigfoot that did that. But here's the real deal. Here's what really happened. Because see, I had been waiting for someone else in one of these communities to describe what we had encountered out there. And no one has ever described it. See, I can be calculated like that. Okay. Just to kind of sit around and before I unleash the knowledge on the general public, I want to hear if anyone else has that same experience. And I have to tell you, no one else has ever described this. No one. And at some point, I guess I felt it was time. But so there was a commotion behind our tents, and the head of our team was the only. I talk a lot. I was busy jibber jabbering with a friend, and I didn't hear it. He jumps up. He said as he walked over behind our tents, there was a grid pattern suspended in the air. And we're talking about like a reddish pink, red, he said red, grid in the air. And two creatures were crawling out of it. And one of them was halfway out, and the other one was was coming out of it into our reality here. And he screamed. He goes, "Net," like that. He goes, "Net," or "no," or something. It sounded like no. It's kind of like mixed between either "net" or "no." And as he screamed, he may speak different. He speaks a lot of different languages. Yes. And so as he yelled that out, whatever that was, that grid, it kind of closed in, and the one that was halfway out got spit out, and the other one got sucked back in, and the grid disappeared.
Dude, something out of a movie,
Yes.
bro.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it in a movie, but you know what? Maybe we'll make a documentary one day. Who knows? We'll see. But that's why I said that, because once you get into like the podcasting world and stuff, you hear a lot of very similar stories from people. And the beauty of me having a podcast and I do live shows is I get to discuss experiences with people, and I can relate to their experiences.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, this happened to my entire team, and I got to tell you, this thing stalked our camp all night until the sun came up. Whichever one got spit out, I'll talk about that in just a second, because what I was looking for in the community was like, well, let's hear it. Let's see if someone else can ever describe what we experienced out there, but no one ever has. Okay, so after that thing yelled, we were all dumbfounded, and I had never, like I said, never experienced anything like that, but we could hear it like run off into the woods, and so we knew it was out there, but we didn't know like exactly if it was running off and it wouldn't come back. We knew that like we're all just trying to wrap our heads around what just happened, and so the strangest thing was we all decided about an hour later we were going to turn in for the night, and we all went to our tents and went to sleep. But we didn't go to sleep. Okay, now a rational, normal research team would have stayed up all night and investigated, walked around, set up a perimeter, gotten the night vision out, the FLIRs, the thermals, and all that, and watched. But we didn't. And even to this day, like I always wonder, like, why did we not do anything about that?
So was that the plan from the lead? Was that his call? Not to prep, not to go investigate?
It was kind of like all of us. No, he didn't say anything. That was really the oddest part about it. Because we all just kind of have a game plan when we go out in the woods. It just depends on which team. I'm on like 4 or 5 different research teams. Now this is my OG team. Okay. The ones that I started off with, the ones who've trained in remote viewing and stuff. And this is my original team. We just, we'd been going out there for a long time at this point too. And so it's also not shocking that we all just were like, oh, let's go to bed. Let's all go, let's turn in for the night. Whatever. That was weird. Because we do experience a lot of weird stuff. So, it is what it is. But looking back on it, it made so much sense to go to bed right after that happened. But looking back, it didn't. So
for the normal researcher, that makes a lot of sense. For a dude like me in the freaking concrete jungle, it makes no sense. If I see something like that, I'm either in shock or I'm going after it. Right. I mean, did you ask me? But I have never been Sasquatch hunting, and I'm probably missing out. But that is an insane story. But I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Did you find out what it was? Did it come back?
Yes. Well, we didn't see it the whole night. We never saw it. I didn't see it. The head of our team saw it as it crawled out of the portal, and we asked him what, and we call this a portal because that's the closest thing to anything a portal could be, but it was and if you look at things, I mentioned Stranger Things. I said I was joking about this. It was a Stranger Thing. Well, if you look on, any kind of artwork of like the 1980 shows and stuff, there's always like that grid pattern and that neon grid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like. Okay. That's what it looked like. Red. Suspended in the air. Okay, so he's the only one that actually got a look at what it was, and we said, well, was it a Bigfoot? And he said no. He said that from the very beginning. He said, no, it wasn't a Bigfoot. He's like, the closest thing that I can describe this as is a Preta. And we're like, what the hell is a Preta? And he said,
Preta?
a hungry ghost. A hungry ghost. But let me tell you, this thing was flesh and bone, blood. I don't know if it had bones, but it had flesh. I don't know what it had, but we heard it running. He actually saw it. The thing threw rocks and acorns at our tents all night. It was terrifying, actually. That was actually one of the only times I've really been unnerved. I'm not going to say I was scared. I ain't scared. Okay. But I was unnerved that night. And I was thumbing through some pictures a couple days ago on my phone. I remember the next morning, I didn't sleep a wink. None of us did. We all laid in our tents all night, and we just were getting lobbed with acorns and rocks all night on all of our tents. And we were all taught, like, whispering and talking to each other throughout, because we could hear each other. And at some point, you know, the head of my team goes, "Hey, you guys, remember, we do this for fun." I was like, whatever, dude. And
there's always somebody cracking a joke.
Well, you know, if we're not laughing, we're crying. If we're not laughing, we're crying out there.
That's true. 1000%.
Yeah, but we were so we're getting hit with rocks and acorns all night. No one got out of their tents at all until the sun came up. Nobody.
Wow.
I don't think anybody wanted to. If anybody had to use the bathroom, they just held it until the sun came up. It was like that. It was weird. You could hear acorns falling. I'll never forget this. You could hear acorns. So we had acorns, like oak trees around us. They would fall, and you could hear it go. The trajectory was going from up to going down to the ground. Okay. Like that. But then we had these projectiles that were going pew, pew, like horizontal, and then smacking into our tents. So you could clearly hear a difference. And it happened literally all night that night. Yeah. So
let me ask you something. We are down the first part of the show. It's not the first half, but I must take the time and give a massive shout out to the listener of the week while we're dropping bombs of knowledge. Oh, yeah. I want to dedicate this episode to Joy Lynn. Nurse Joy Lynn on Instagram. You have been engaging, dropping bombs, and also giving me a lot of feedback on the episodes I did with Nurse Nicole. Mad love. If you're watching the show, this episode goes out to you. Thank you so much for engaging. Now, I remind you guys to like, share, and subscribe, and check out Miss Jessica Jones. She came and impacted us with the Preta. That's an amazing word. I like it. I might do an episode on it. I'm going to do a deep dive on these things. I'm telling you, that is good. I like it. Plus, this episode will be dropping in Hollywood, and I'm in Halloween season. So you guys look up the word Preta, and if you guys like it, let me know, and then we'll start dropping bombs on that. Yo, okay, Miss Jones. So there's this lake lady ghost that haunts the Lake Lanier. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Sorry, my being language. I'm super ugly accent.
Well, I live in the South, and we say Lake Lanier. I pronounce everything wrong, by the way. Okay, but we call it Lake Lanier. It is the most haunted lake, I'm going to say, in the whole United States. I think it's one of the most haunted. And I've done a lot of research on different lakes across the U.S. and there's a whole lot of history behind a lot of these man-made lakes. It really deserves a whole lot more research. When you start looking into it, you start doing a little bit of research. It's a deep rabbit hole with hidden history, towns that have been covered up, civilizations wiped out and covered up and hidden from us. I think it is a key element to our hidden history here in the United States. Are some of these lakes. Lake Lanier in northeast Georgia, actually, kind of more northeast. It is, let's see, they created this lake, a man-made lake, in 1956. They had to wipe out the entire community of Oscarville to make this lake. Now, it kind of reminds me of like that movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I don't know if you've seen that. If you're from the South, you probably watched it, but I love that movie. Okay. And now they actually flood out an entire community, a bunch of communities, to build a lake. And that's part of that movie was a journey they went on. trying to get some stuff out of one of their houses before they flooded the area with these lakes. And this was back in 1956. There had been over 700, I'm going to say almost 1,000 deaths at Lake Lanier since they created that lake.
Oh my God.
And it happens all the time. Let me tell you, when you go to Lake Lanier, okay, do not, if anyone's listening to this right now, if you go to Lake Lanier, please don't dive in head first. Please never do that. It is full of trees, church steeples, road signs, signs for businesses, homes, things that will get you caught up and bust your noggin. Okay, when you get in there, and people have no idea. It looks like a beautiful lake, wide open, but once you dive in, a lot of people are never found once they take a dive into that lake. And I have swam in it many, many times, not having a clue about what it is, what's under it, or the history behind it. And they say, this is so weird when you look it up and you do some research on it. They say, well, Lake Lanier has the consistency of Jell-O.
Wow.
And I can't say they're wrong. It's kind of gross.
Muddy water.
It's not muddy. It's just gross. It's just like thick, like Jell-O. It is kind of weird. There was a famous story that came out. I think it was in the 1950s. Let me see. I got to look at my notes real quick. But there were two young women, and they were driving over a bridge on Lake Lanier, and their car ran off the bridge. And let's see, Susie, it was in 1958. The lake was built in 1956. 1958, Susie Roberts and Delia Mae Parker drowned while crossing the Lake Lanier Bridge. And the woman that was driving was Susie. She was wearing a blue dress. And that is what people claim to see around Lake Lanier, is a woman in a blue dress. They call her the Lady of the Lake. And sometimes she can either be a helping hand, somebody's drowning, or she could pull you down. And I'm not sure it's her that's pulling people down. I think there's a lot of stuff going on that's pulling people down. You got to think, like, they covered up a lot of cemeteries, okay, with that lake. They covered up a lot of Indian burial mounds.
Yeah.
Okay, this is
cursed
a
areas.
lot of all Native American land. It is very cursed. Okay, cursed in the purest form of the word. It's cursed. As a matter of fact, here's a fun tidbit. I have done plenty of, let's just say, remote viewing targets where I'm tasked with finding missing people. This is real life situations, cold cases that have not been solved. The team has worked with law enforcement. Whenever they're getting a cold case, they have no clues where these people are. They send it over to the remote viewing team sometimes. And I was tasked with a high priority target when I first started doing the remote viewing with my team. And I located a man's body in Lake Lanier. Oh, and he had not been found yet. But guess what? I'm going to say about a month or two later, after I had turned in all my data, I said, I actually had drawn out the Buford Dam. They call it the Buford Dam. And I drew a drawing of it. I didn't know I'm given a set of coordinates, so I don't know what I'm looking at. But I was tasked with finding this man's body, finding out where he was. And I said, I was seeing a bloated body. I kept seeing a bloated body. I was like, it's going to be near a recreational area with picnic tables, is what I said. A bloated body, picnic tables, and somebody had been shot. Okay, and all this is in my data, blind target. And about a month or so later, his body surfaced by a marina at Lake Lanier where the picnic tables were right there. So it is actually, I only say that to your audience, because it is a dumping ground for bodies as well. So it's very unfortunate, but it just adds to the lore and the mystique, I guess, of this lake.
So it's not a place where you could go and swim with the family for the summer?
Oh yeah, everybody swims there.
Get the freak out, dude. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Listen, look up Cocktail Cove. That's where the party's at right there. Yeah, I know all about it. I used to go, I've gone skiing, tubing and everything. It's actually a high traffic lake. Like, it's got a lot of traffic on it. And so you have to be, actually, it gets crowded. There's so much activity out there. It's a huge lake. But yeah, it's lots of houses. I mean, all the rich folks have houses around Lake Lanier. Okay, it's that kind of a place. I'm not saying everybody's rich that has a house out there, but it's a destination spot. And
what is? I have a question because I was trying to look up Georgian. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but Georgia myth and cryptic stories. Some of the bloodiest, some of the goriest ones, and I'm like, what is this? What is an Alti, bro?
An Alti, like from the Ultima Haha. That's it. Probably the Ultima Haha.
Yes, the Ultima Haha. Yeah, not brouhaha. Ultima Haha.
Not the brouhaha. It's an Ultima Haha. That's actually a Native American word, I believe. And but it's like a Loch Ness monster out of a river in South Georgia.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at that,
it looks kind of like Nessie. Actually, you can find pictures of a creature that washed up on shore down in beach in South Georgia, and it looks like a miniature plesiosaur, which is what some say that's what the Loch Ness monster is. It washed up recently. Actually, it was in the past like 10 years.
Oh snap! What?
Yeah.
I had Dr. What's his name? Dr. Kent on the show. And he spoke about the African swamp and how it is by the locals. People have tried to investigate and countries do not let people there. Plus, it's swamped up with freaking criminal activity. But he said that there is a giant dinosaur type creature there, an ancient dinosaur type creature there, that it's infesting the water, that it's huge. And I'm like, dude, shut the front door. Now he kind of like broke it down to me, and then he was giving me graphs and all the good stuff, and he put up a show, I'm telling you. But I believe it on it 100%. However, Nessie, one of my first episodes on the show was the Loch Ness monster. The Loch Ness is a very mysterious place because of its geological location. It's on a powerful grid. Aleister Crowley owned one of the houses there. He was trying to open portals in that place. It's super strong in energy. It's a pulsating area of energy. But I think I've debunked Nessie. And you're going to probably fight me back on this. I think I debunked it. So there's a mouth to Loch Ness, to the open water of the sea. And in different times of the years, we have killer whales and different types of other whales that would go there and not nest, but mate when it's their season to have, procreate time, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So some of these whales, what they do is they go belly up and their penises come out of the water. And
oh my God, you solved it.
I swear.
It's a whale wiener.
It's a whale wiener.
Oh my gosh. It's a whale wiener. Oh man, I am so glad that you have solved the mystery. We need to tell the world. I might just have to bring you on the show. We'll just talk about whale wieners. Thank you.
No. I just wanted to break it down.
Kidding.
I was like, I think I broke Loch Ness, bro.
That's actually, I mean, look, I'm a researcher, so we're always looking for, the answers to stuff. I think that's actually pretty smart. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look into that.
You gotta look into that because I was
so
like,
funny.
dude, they're mating, and they're a way to that they actually attract their mate is by pulling it up in the air and just waving it up and doing their thing. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, she has been here.
Funny.
She's been here. This is her second time here, and I am so happy to share the show with you. My shows are very short formatted because I'm dropping a lot of them at the same during the weekend, and I like having conversations where we have comedic relief, some research, obviously, and then I also tell people, look, guys, we're not telling you to believe what she's saying or believe that she has experimented these things. I want you guys to search it up for yourself. I want you to stop spending more time on TikTok watching ads and take 5 seconds of your day to go to the search bar and then look it up for yourself. Hashtag look it up. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Jessica Jones. Let them know where they can find you one more time, please.
Thank you. Come find me at the CRYPTIDHuntress.com. You can also find me on my YouTube channel and my Rumble channel. It is the Cryptid Huntress. I'm the Cryptid Huntress on all social media platforms except for X. I'm Huntress Jessica. So thank you so much for having me. And this has been a fun conversation tonight.
It was fun. It was absolutely crazy. I got to get into the Petra. Petra is something that hungry ghosts, do they eat souls or flesh? What? So many questions came up in my head. You know, I'm like, dude, I got to search it. I think
both. And, you know, they actually look like goblins. Okay. They don't look, they have a huge belly on them. They're actually more well known in Asian culture and Middle Eastern culture. And they go way back centuries. Actually, the Buddhist monks leave out offerings for them because they're actually humans. This is what they say. They're actually humans who went into the afterlife, and they have like, I want to say greedy, okay, but gluttonous. Like they have like a gluttonous life here on Earth, and so they're like super skinny, and they have these huge protruding bellies. Yeah, they have these big bellies that stick out. You know, remember watching like South Park? And oh God, I'm not gonna bring that up. And let's just say that they're emaciated, but they have like a big belly on them, kind of. And like and they will eat humans. Yes, they'll eat humans. They'll eat anything. Okay, so you got to be careful. But they look like goblins.
One of my friends that he was on the show in the early stages of the show. Leroy, he's from Guam, and he mentioned that's the first time I think I've ever heard of the Petra. He's from Guam, and he said that as a child he wasn't allowed to walk into the forest without asking for permission to the spirits, and that his family would tell him like there is evil spirits that would come. You can't pee in the rain in the forest. You can't walk. You can't spill anything. You can't leave offering if it's not the right place. Different times of the year, different lunar cycles. And I'm like, whoa, Don, what the heck are you telling me? Like, no, bro, like it's serious. It's culture. Like that you respect the land. And I was like, dude, you're freaking nuts. But now that I'm a full-fledged conspiracy theorist, I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it too. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I didn't get a chance to see that with my own eyes, but I was accosted by it all night. And I was, but you know what? I came out alive. I'm alive. I'm here to talk about it. And so whatever it was, we do call it the Preta. Okay, the Preta. Preta. I think is how you spell it. Preta. So look it up. Do your research. It's really cool. I did a show on it just recently, about a month ago, I guess, over on my channel. And it was actually shocking to me because I never even looked it up to see what it was. I just figured it was just, I didn't know it looked as scary as it actually does. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoyed making it. Peace.